The Tuggerah-Lakes-Estuary formed 6,500 years ago, but in just 50 years, urbanisation has devastated the ecology of the lakes. The three interconnected lagoons that make up Tuggerah-Lakes-Estuary are connected to the Pacific Ocean by a narrow channel. They cover 70 square kilometres, but the catchment area for these lakes covers 670 square kilometres. What happens in the catchment has a big impact on the lakes because 99% of the lake's water comes from the creeks and rivers that flow from there. Urbanisation has caused high levels of nutrient pollution and sediment to enter the lakes, mainly through stormwater. Nutrient pollution comes from fertilisers, pesticides and other chemicals, rubbish, dog poo and organic matter from lawn clippings and livestock manure. Some of the main sources of sediment include erosion of stream banks caused by urban development, poor farming practices and unsealed roads. Nutrient pollution and excess sediment loads cause the sandy shores to become muddier and the lake basin water to become murky. This causes seagrass beds to migrate towards the shore in search of light to photosynthesize. When seagrass sheds its leaves, it accumulates in the near shore, forming a barrier and trapping nutrient-rich water, which leads to the conditions that form black ooze, a toxic and uninhabitable black sludge that produces an intensely offensive odour. Only free-floating forms of macroalgae can survive in the high concentrations of hydrogen sulfide that's found in black ooze, which means the function of the ecosystem is at risk. Contributing to these conditions is the developed foreshores that no longer have the correct gradient to allow the rack to wash up, and the 85% decline in ecologically endangered salt marsh that allows the rack to dry out naturally and assimilate. These impacts are extremely harmful to the lake's ecology and biodiversity, and here's why you should care about it. The health of the lakes is important for recreational use such as boating and water skiing, economical reasons such as commercial fishing and tourism, but most importantly for the biodiversity of the environment. Many migratory and endangered animals visit the lakes. The remaining salt marsh and seagrass beds provide important habitat and food for many animals, supporting the vulnerable balance of biodiversity. Wyong Shire Council has developed an estuary management plan which outlines the intention to improve the lake's water quality and rehabilitate the foreshores and salt marsh habitats. While there is a plan in place, there is research indicating that the increasing urbanisation may lead to further damage. The polluted stormwater and the high inputs of sediment all stems from the urban and industrial development in the catchment, and this is where the community must take responsibility for their actions. So what can we as a community do? People in the catchment can reduce the amount of chemicals, pesticides and fertilisers they use, wash cars on the lawn, install rainwater tanks to collect runoff from roofs, as well as dispose of lawn clippings in the green waste bins and pick up after your dog. With education, it is possible to learn how to take better care of the vulnerable ecology of the Tuggerah-Lakes-Estuary. Rehabilitation is paramount to ensure the sustainability of an ecologically and economically important and diverse natural asset.
Created using Powtoon.